Good evening. I'd like to call August 11th for Gwynedd Township Business Meeting to order. This evening, Sandra will lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Deanna, would you do the roll call, please?
Catherine Carter, President.
Here.
Rebecca Moody, Vice President.
Here.
Denise Hall, Commissioner.
Here.
Liz McNaney, Commissioner.
Here.
Greg Mull, Commissioner. Sandra Zadell, Township Manager.
Here.
Megan Weaver, Assistant Township Manager.
Here.
Lauren Gallagher, Township Solicitor.
Here.
Nicholas Cross, Township Engineer.
Here.
David Duffy, Chief of Police. Ryan Shapiro, Finance Director.
Thank you. Now I'd like to turn the meeting over to Commissioner Hall.
Thank you, President Carter. So tonight, we have the pleasure of recognizing two of our members of our police team who have served an incredible amount of years at Upper Gwynedd Township. So I'm going to start with a few words from our chief, our police chief. Julie really is an incredible asset to our police department. She serves as the administrative office manager. She oversees a staff of 2 full-time and 1 part-time administrative assistants and is one of 2 direct reports to the chief of police. Under Julie's leadership, the Administrative Services Divisions handles thousands of police reports, paperwork for hundreds of arrests, court documents and scheduling, phone calls and walk-ins, billing, payroll, and many other tasks vital to the functioning of the entire department. When station tours are given and they reach Julie's office, she is always referred to as the person who runs the whole department, and that is certainly an accurate description. Julie is very well respected and is truly the heart of Upper Gwynedd PD. We look forward to many more years of working with Julie. And I can just say that Julie Murphy is one of these people who has been with Upper Gwynedd Township for 35 years, and she is someone who is in the background doing so much that we don't even know all the wonderful, amazing things that she's doing. And she is just a very grounding and dependable constant that everybody on the police team really depends on. And we are just so lucky to have her. And I don't know what we're going to do if she ever decides to retire. So that's the first one, Julie. And then the second one is one of our officers, Officer Brant Whistler. And the chief had this to say about Officer Whistler: attended the Montgomery County Police Academy and holds a bachelor's degree in chemistry from Washington College. He has experience as a lab technician in the Forensics Chemistry Department of National Medical Service. Officer Whistler began his career as a patrol officer in Upper Gwynedd in 2005. He serves as a field training officer, firearms instructor, DARE officer, full-time crime prevention officer, and is a member of the Montgomery County SWAT team, the Central Regional, where he is the counter sniper team supervisor. He is also our official pet detective. Officer Whistler is the recipient of numerous letters of commendation and is one of only 2 officers in the department to have earned all 4 official medals: Meritorious Service, Community Service, Valor, and Officer of the Year. Officer Whistler would also like to add that he has the best hairstyle in the department and probably the entire township. We look forward to Officer Whistler's continued outstanding service to our community. So that is so Officer Whistler, this whole description. He is someone who has such a wide variety of interests that he really is a jack of all trades. And he is not someone that you would expect to be a police officer. But he has such a creativity about him that he really brings that energy to everything he does. And as a result, we just have much more outside the box thinking. He brings a definite joie de vivre to every event, every program, every project. And it really just adds so much. And all of our staff and our residents and everyone just really appreciates that energy he brings. And he does that with also being a great team player, and he also has a lot of great leadership skills. So thank you so much, Officer Whistler. We'll be very sad if you decide to retire too.
Let's give a hand in their absence. Next on our agenda, Lauren, executive sessions.
Thank you, President Carter. The board met in executive session earlier this evening to discuss matters of collective bargaining, personnel, and potential litigation, and will reconvene in executive session after this meeting to discuss matters of potential litigation and property acquisition. The board also met in executive session following the meeting on July 14th to discuss matters of personnel and property acquisition.
Thank you. Next on our agenda is public comments. Just a reminder to please state your name and if you're a resident or non-resident when you come to the mic. Please make sure that the green light is bright and let us know that it's on. As always, our goal is to give you the most complete and correct answers to your questions from our staff who are experts in their areas of expertise. For that reason, you have the option of enclosing your email address in the registry if you would like for us to reach out to you during the week with a full answer to your question. And we do this because we've had some residents in the past that are concerned that if we answered any question offline, that the residents who wanted to hear the answer publicly would be left out. So we will continue to share any answers to questions that were posted publicly, but were answered privately at the following public meeting. First up on our public comment this evening is Carl Smith.
Carl Smith, yes, I'm a resident. I'd like to follow up, Sandra, with on your presentation from last month, I think it was, about the paving in Sugar Valley. And you ended your presentation with a recommendation to the board to not do what I guess from my research is microsurfacing because it's new technology. Well, I'm curious to know some of the things maybe you have will give me feedback on filling the gaps. I did some research. Seems that microsurfacing is a technique that has a application that's acceptable if it's done properly. And from what I understand, our road expectancy lifespan is 18 to 22 years. And if you put the microsurfacing over that, it extends it by 6 or 7 years. I don't know which was used in our neighborhood. I mean, there's 4 or 5, I guess, out there. The latest is Thin Seal. Is that what was used?
What was used in your development was Nova Chip.
Nova Chip. Okay. Well, the mill and overlay, as you pointed out, is a more extensive process. It requires you to take the road surface down and then reapply asphalt over it. Obviously, it's more cost. It's, I think, about 4 times more. It can only be done, as you probably already know, when the road, it's done when the road surface is really deteriorated. So timing is critical here. In our case, it seems that a few things happened that were not great. First of all, it was applied, I think, in the right time because the road surface was conducive for that application. What wasn't done was the right preparation. And I don't know where that falls. It's an administrative issue, communication issue for sure. So the sewer department wasn't notified that it was going to happen, and they didn't put the manhole cover risers on there to extend it. So that has to be done prior to the application. Then the contractor, well, then there was nobody to slow the process down when it was starting to happen. I watched the cars being taken out, notices being put on the cars to be moved, so there was warning to us, the residents, but I don't know where things go here internally. Then the contractor came in, and they should know, that the result is not going to be optimal. So they applied this surface, as you pointed out in your presentation last month, several inches above the manhole cover. So now we got a problem. And you got several issues related to the problem. You got potholes year-round, and they're real potholes. During the winter, you're going to have an ice buildup if the manhole covers retain the water. And if they don't, you got another problem. You got infiltration that you don't want in stormwater. So the sewer department, I guess, is not thrilled about that because you don't want that into the sewer department. So really, you challenged me to come up with solutions. You really don't have a lot of great ones. Okay, you can leave it the way it is. That's not tenable. It's a road hazard. You can take the whole thing down and start over. That's very expensive. Or you can mill around every pothole and extend the covers and patch. Not great either. But you know what? That's typical around southeastern Pennsylvania. As soon as you pave a road, they come and rip it up with a utility anyway. So we're getting used to that. So, I think that's really your only option. And if you don't want to do that, I guess you could just do the thoroughfares, because it's like an obstacle course in our neighborhoods. And you drive in other neighborhoods, it's done properly. It's great. But the point, I guess, is the board, I think, would want to know where the breakdown is, because there was a breakdown. And it's an administrative breakdown, it's a communication breakdown, it's lack of accountability breakdown. And whoever did the work in the end, I mean, we're all involved in some type of business enterprise. Someone comes to your house, they don't do a great job on your project, you don't pay them. How come we paid the people when they knew good and well that the result was not acceptable? It wasn't. So no one went and told these people, you're not getting your last check until you fix this. And you should have told us, by the way. It's not just like level. There's a buildup around every manhole. It's literally like a little ramp. So the more I think about it, the more I'm dealing with it. It's a day in, day out. Obviously, I live in the neighborhood. The more it's annoying that this could even happen. And it's really aggravating that you paid the people. And it's really, as far as, like I said, the board, I would think you'd want to know why. How did this happen? Because you don't want it happening again, because you got a big problem.
Thanks, Carl. I just want to correct one thing that you said. Almost everything you said was correct. Just on the manhole risers, we can't do manhole risers on our hinged manholes. That's why I didn't. Obviously, manhole risers would have solved the whole problem if we could do that. But we use a more I&I protective type of manhole. It's a hinged manhole. It's also safer for our employees. That type, you can't use a riser with it. So that takes away that option. But
Yeah,
I
okay.
just wanted
So
to
if I'm in
point that
your
out.
situation, I'm evaluating before all this unfolds what my options are. And you're not happy with the results, right?
Correct. That's-
No. So, I mean, going in, you would come up with a plan. We're going to have 3, 4, 5 inches in some areas of a dip. That's not going to work. So if I don't know anything about hinge, I didn't do any research on that. Is that my next research project?
No, I have
Okay.
already done, you can just consult my presentation. I took care of that for you, but I hear what you're saying, Carl, and I share your frustration, and we won't let it happen again, and that I can assure you.
Well, what is the solution though? I mean, I laid out the only option
Yeah,
I've
it's not
come
going
up
to be a
with.
quick solution, unfortunately, because even the least costly of the solutions that you laid out has a cost, but it also has a condition that I'm not sure I want to create, like that milling around every single thing. We need internally to figure out with the staff what our next steps are forward, and the board is kept apprised via our liaison. Greg is our public works liaison, so we'll keep you posted. I publicly presented this mistake to all of you, and I will keep you posted on our plans as we move forward with the solution.
Okay, one further comment, what I started with. It seems like microsurfacing is a viable solution with the right application, with the right preparation, with the right oversight. But your conclusion, I don't know if it's changed or maybe I misunderstood it, was no good for all of it.
Yeah, so it's not because I don't think that there's probably like a good microsurfacing solution. I don't think it's right for our community. When I started as manager here, we were using a different application. It's called Ralumac.
Yes, I know about that.
And the residents hated that as well, due to other issues with that type of application, which was done correctly and didn't cause roadside hazards, but causes tons of dirt
Residue.
and residue that the residents dislike. So it's not a matter of is there not another microsurfacing that we could use? It's a matter of, is it worth it? What's our quality of life decision here about the roadways? So all of that will be taken into account as we look into it.
Well, not to, I don't want to take a lot of time, but mill and overlay is at least 4 times more. So, when you consider Rolumau, I heard, yeah, and I know it's got negative side effects. However, they're temporary. I did research on that as well. So it does work itself out. And unlike the sunken manhole covers that won't work itself out.
Thank you. Next up, Mr. William Jackson.
Good evening, William Jackson, Park Road, Upper Gwynedd Township. Some of you might have noticed tonight we did what we call a critical mass ride from Pembroke train station over here to the park. We did a loop. We had, I think, about 35 people out there with us. We had a good time, but it was meant to draw attention to a challenge that we're putting up to our municipalities in the North Penn region. The primary challenge for Upper Gwynedd is to set a deadline for the completion of the trails in the township. Again, there's been a lot of work, prep work, getting resident acceptance of the trails, doing studies on how they should go, where they should go, and it's been about a 5-year process up to now. Our challenge to you is to put a deadline on trying to get the trails built out, both the Liberty Bell Trail and the Powerline Trail, and we'd like to suggest 2030. We know that 2025 is shot from a planning and budgetary standpoint. I'm not sure how much time there is to think about 2026. I know the time is short, but even if we don't hit that goal, I think we think as a group from here forward, if you have a deadline, we can work with you. It's not just something that we're going to impose on you. We want to see, can we help you raise funds if that's needed? We have some expertise in the group, our engineers who work for some of the consultants that are already doing some of the studies. We have some other expertise in the group. So we want to partner with you, but we'd like to try and set a goal so that we can steer towards that goal and show progress between now and something like 2030. So if you want to talk more about that after the meeting or in between, I'd be happy to come in for any of your office hours and talk through some of those ideas. The second thing I'll talk about is just the last issue. As a cyclist, as a runner, those manhole covers are a challenge on some roads, and not even the ones that were microserviced. Some of our manhole covers have dips in them. So I understand things can't be fixed overnight, and the presentation that was done at the last meeting I thought was very thorough to sort of describe how we got to where we are. I would just suggest, from a safety standpoint, anything that you can do to resolve that, not only for the peace of mind of the residents on those streets, but other folks passing through. They're not always the easiest thing to see, even in the daytime. So anything you can do to fix that would be good. And finally, just as a resident of the township, I know tonight on the agenda is the zoning. Normally I stick around for these meetings. Tonight I have to leave. But I just want to say that I've been here for most of the big discussions around this zoning question, around the housing. I've listened to a lot of the folks who are opposed to it and tried to ascertain what their issues are. Some of them are, to me, more legitimate than others. I don't feel there's a conspiracy theory around this. I've lived in the North Penn region for almost 25 years now, and I've seen how housing costs have gone up and how rental costs have gone up. And I firmly believe that we have folks who want to work in the area, and they don't want to have to live too far to get here. And in a general way, the housing development that's being proposed in the location that it's proposed, I think is one of the best possible scenarios. And just to point to some of the other housing developments that are now for discussion in Talminson and Hatfield Township, if you follow the social media posts around those, people are necessarily sort of concerned about new development in the township and how it's going to affect traffic, how it's going to affect the schools. But at the same time, I'm hearing a lot of people saying those developments are way too expensive. People can't afford to buy into a $250,000 row home or a $1.5 million standalone house. And so I think it's important to have a spectrum of housing. And this one, that lot has been sitting empty since I moved here 25 years ago. And I think it's a good opportunity to put a development like that that's close to public transportation, that's close enough that those folks could bike or ride or walk to a grocery store and some of the services that might even be inside Lansdale Borough. So I'm just here to say I'm for it in general. And I think there's a lot of other voters that voted for all of you that would support a positive vote for the zoning change tonight. I think that's, one other thing. If you do, and this is sort of related to the last conversation, cost of roads, cost of sewers. There is this hubbub about high density housing. I don't know that this housing proposal is considered high density. It's certainly higher density than a standalone single home on a 0.5 acre plot. But from what I've read, as communities like ours get built out, the cost of maintenance of roads, of sewers doesn't go down, it only goes up. And if you can find incremental opportunities to slightly increase the density, like a unit, a development like this, it allows you to have some increased revenue for your sewers and for your taxes without consuming as much maintenance costs as you have houses that are strung out very far apart, where you've got longer runs of sewer lines and other street and road costs around us. So I think from a taxpayer standpoint, this also makes sense in the long term for the township. Thank you.
Hey, Bill.
Yeah.
If I may, just real quick, I want to thank you and what you're doing to make bike safety safer in this area. I'm not a cyclist, but even just driving over here this evening, there was one on West Point Pike, and I thought, I'm going to pass them. I need 4 feet
Yeah.
to pass. So you coming to meetings and making this, and what you pen on Facebook and everything else is making an impact, at least for me, and other people aware of what we need to do. So I appreciate you doing that and keep doing it, because
Yeah.
you are getting attention and it is helping people. So thank you.
I would say the one other thing that we have for the challenge is for the school district. So again, following social media around this accident where we had a biker killed and some of the other incidents around, people often complain that bikers are not respecting the rules of the road. So we do want to engage the school district and see if we can get bicycle safety and rules of the roads potentially built into either phys ed or health class in like a 6th grade, 7th grade timeframe, because some of those kids, sure, they're making bad decisions, but some of them just literally don't know what the rules are. And if we can maybe set that in a little bit formal way, it'll hopefully tamp down some of that behavior. For adults too, quite frankly, but for the kids, it's important.
Bill, I'm glad to hear you say that. And actually, I rode my bike here this evening in solidarity with you guys, because I think that bike safety is important. There are certain human decisions, human mistakes that we're all going to make that sometimes, end up in tragedy. And so, we could have a bike lane or a sharrow and signage and everything in, every roadway, and that's still not going to overcome human error,
Sure.
Which led to, in my understanding, the most recent tragedy. So I think that education, not only what we can do to help where appropriate and where feasibly permissible, but also for the cycling community and for people that might be, you guys that are hard cyclers, of course you're following the rules and you know about it. The folks that are pedestrian cyclists, I guess, probably need a little more reinforcement. You have to look before you cross the street. You can't swerve into traffic. You should wear a helmet every time, all the most basic safety features or aspects, considerations that we should be taking into account. I think we really need to advise, like you had mentioned, the young folks, but also adults as well, when they're on the bicycles, how we can cycle safely.
Sure.
Because we can't prevent municipalities can't prevent the human error or any, all accidents. We can help mitigate it, but at the end of the day, it's also our own responsibility as folks that ride bikes.
Absolutely. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, Judy Vose. I apologize if I pronounced that incorrect.
That's quite all right. It's Judy Vose.
Judy.
Okay, thank you. Like Bill, I'm here to continue my advocating for bicycling infrastructure in Upper Gwynedd Township. The Delaware Valley Regional Planning Commission many years ago created what they call the circuit trails, and they found that it's very important for the whole Delaware Valley region's traffic infrastructure and living, what's the word? Quality of life in the region can be improved by building out these circuit trails. And they're meant to be long distance trails. They can also be used for recreation, but they can be used for long distance transportation or, commuting. And I am a little boggled by being a resident here and understanding that there's been so much effort put into it, but no results. At this point, the results are, it seems to like everything has come to a halt. In preparation for this critical mass ride, I went out and knocked on all the doors on my street. I live on Whitaker Place, and the neighbors that are right on the backside, the majority of the neighbors on that backside that face onto the trail were all for it. They also don't understand why there has been a delay. Can anybody speak to why there has been a delay?
What section of trail are you referring to?
This would be the Powerline Trail.
So there hasn't been any delay. There's just a matter of we have to engineer it and fund it. So about 2 years ago, we got the easement for the Powerline Trail. Right now, we are actively engineering a section of the Liberty Bell Trail. It's really about money. I mean, I really could just come down to it. We would have to allocate. I heard Bill's call for all of those trails to be completed. It's about 6 miles plus for each of the trails, so 12 miles total. And I think, Nick can correct me if I'm wrong, it's about $1 million per mile. I see one of our engineers here as well. Mike, I could call on you for that as well. But so that's 12 million in just construction dollars. That doesn't count all the engineering. We have SEPTA crossings that we have to deal with. None of these things happen quickly, and it's not publicly shared. Like, you don't know, Judy, that I'm working with SEPTA to try to get them to allow us to use a cattle chute as a tunnel for a portion of the one trail. But all of that takes forever. We've been working with SEPTA for 2 years to try to get that agreement and easement. So we're quietly doing work behind the scenes. It's just, there's some things that you just get stuck on, like how are you going to cross the railroad tracks? And then there's other things that are just financial, like, are we going to allocate 12 million? We can't just allocate 12 million like that for trails out of nowhere, especially when there's so much grant funding available. And I think if you guys did some research into other communities, the one I'm most familiar with is Doylestown Township. They have been building trails for nearly 30 years. So it's taken them 30 years to get a large, complex, really well-connected trail system. It is going to take us also that much time. I don't think you can name a municipality anywhere that's, well, in southeastern PA, probably easy out in like Colorado where you're dealing with wide open spaces. But here it just is a little harder. You have to get easements, you have to engineer it, you have to get permits, you have to deal with bridges and railroad crossings. That's why it takes time.
So like I said probably 2 years ago, please keep it on the agenda. Please give us an update every month if there was any progress or what the holdup is. Because at this point, it just looks like it's falling through the cracks. It was stated as a high priority of a goal this year, and I hope it remains as a high priority. I think that it's really important for the future. It's important for the environment. It's important for safety. There are many, many reasons. And like Doylestown Township has been doing it for 30 years, we need to get on board a little bit quicker. I think we need to pick up the pace, do what we can. And I guarantee you that there is a large contingent of residents that would participate in fundraising and helping out. I knocked on quite a few neighbors' doors and they were all like, we tried it and we've given up on Upper Gwynedd. And I was really frustrated to hear that. They have given up. There are 2 families in particular that actually use those terms.
Judy,
Which
I hope
was
maybe
frustrating.
you'll be able to take back to them some of the information Sandra was able to share this evening with regard to some of the hurdles and the painstaking processes that we need to go through to get through these. Because they probably, not communicating with Sandra or anybody from the township would have no way of knowing any of that and would come to conclusions not based on anything. So if you could share that with some of those residents, that would be helpful.
Sure. It would be easier if it was public knowledge, though. So, all right. Thank you for your time.
Also, Sandra, can anyone donate to the Park and Rec Department and designate it that you would like that for future trails?
Of course. Yeah.
So you could actually, you could fundraise with all of your residents door to door who all would like to donate, and just make the donation to the Park and Rec Department and designate it that it is for trails, specifically for walking and biking trails. And that will further grow that pot and give us more money towards working on that.
I don't think anybody would donate money without knowing the scope of work that is to be done and the timeline that it should be done in.
You can consult both of the feasibility studies that are on our website for the scope of work. It's there on our website. That work has been done. So the full scope is already outlined.
Yeah. it was a
I think there's some confusion about the power line trail. From the Simone landscape work, the landscape architect that did the study for us, the trail was not going under the power line, it was going out on the streets.
So I think a good idea would be for me to set up a meeting with Bike North Penn, and we can talk about the progress we've made. That study came after both, the CPRO's plan incorporated work done in the power line trail study as well as the Liberty Bell Trail study. One of the things that they recommended is for sections of the trail where we don't have high resident support, which despite what you shared, I think if you go to a different section of the township, you'll find a lot of really strongly anti-trail residents. To sort of assuage some of those concerns, Simone Collins proposed sharrows on some of the parts of the route that we think are going to be harder to build the trail. So sharrows are actually going to be going on to Park Road next week or the week of the 20th. And so those were just sort of like workarounds to sections of the trail that aren't built yet to try to increase visibility of bikers and also get the residents thinking like, oh, the sharrows are there. We see the bikers coming by. Maybe it's not so bad. Maybe the trail isn't as bad as I thought it was. So there's a lot that's going into it that we don't discuss publicly, but I'm happy to meet with you guys. Bill, you're my main contact. I would love to have you come in and talk to us about what we have done this year, because honestly, we've done quite a bit, but it's not something we talk about at every board meeting. And you're not going to see construction for a little while longer.
You said something, though, about there are people that are against it. So how are you balancing the people that are against it versus the people who are for it?
So the board has approved and adopted a plan for the Liberty Bell Trail and the Power Line Trail. So any place that plan is adopted, we plan to eventually build that trail. Our plan is to start on the areas, like I've mentioned before, where people are more positive about it. So in a neighborhood where they really want the trail, we'll start there versus starting, in a different section of the township where they're not as excited. In my experience working on trails, once you build it, people do get more excited. Like if all of a sudden we have a trail that connects you all the way from Parkside Place to the 202 Parkway, if you live over here, you might be more interested in making that connection rather than starting over here when the trail goes nowhere. So it is a strategy that we have in place, but I just don't want to take too much time at tonight's meeting going over every detail of it. Again, I'm happy to meet with you guys privately.
That would be nice. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Next up, M. O'Borney. And please correct me if I'm saying that incorrectly.
Good evening, Madam President, members of the board. Miroslav Oborny is the name. I'm
Miroslav?
Miroslav, yes. Long-term resident of the Montgomery County. Four of my children went to schools in the Wissahickon and North Penn district. Most recently, my son graduated from the Penn Technical Career Center and is currently serving at the U.S. Marine Base Camp in South Carolina. I'm here to voice my support for the development of the affordable housing along the Pembroke Parkway. I attended a meeting in early spring, so I wanted to comment on that. I reside at the adjacent Pembroke apartments. I speak as a daily user of that area on my nightly walks. When I say that I support that project greatly, I think the area will benefit from it. I do understand that this is light industry type of zoning thing, and that exception of some kind had been required and requested and is being considered. So I would like to support that. Just a little bit too many empty office buildings, an inane amount of empty parking. Okay. On the other hand, we have great connection, the bus, the SEPTA train, it's fantastic. Not every community has that. We have this cluster of small businesses and restaurants, a little bit moribund currently. They, I believe, would benefit from the mixed use of affordable high density housing. Okay. And so in the previous meeting, I heard a little bit too many residents protesting that effort. I really, to be frank, do not understand what the problem would be. We are not talking any power plant or incinerator being built, but rather something that would greatly complement the community, the mix of affordable housing, high density in any community, I believe is essential. So this is what we are looking at as far as I understand the project. So again, greatly in favor of that. And I believe that's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks.
That ends our public comments. Next up is our public hearing, and I'm going to turn it over to our solicitor, Lauren Gallagher.
Thank you, President Carter. I would ask for a motion to open the public hearing this evening.
We
Motion.
have a motion to open a public hearing. Can I have a second?
Second?
I have a motion and a second. Any, do that. All in favor, say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Thank you. As set forth in the agenda this evening, this is a public hearing regarding proposed ordinance 2025-04. The purpose of this hearing is to hear comment pursuant to the consideration of ordinance 2025-04, which would amend the zoning map of Upper Gwynedd Township to provide TOD 2 transit-oriented overlay district zoning over a tract of land comprised of 2 parcels located at 1500 Penbrook Parkway and immediately adjacent thereto, more particularly identified as tax parcel numbers 5600, 01303, 009, and 56000137, 01307, 005. And there is a legal description and map attached to the draft ordinance as Exhibit A. This evening, we have, it's actually going to be 5 exhibits. There's 4 listed in the agenda, but we're going to add one. T1 is a copy of draft ordinance 2025-04. T2 is the proof of publication of the legal advertisement for this evening's hearing. This was advertised on July 28th and August 4th. T3 is a copy of the Upper Gwynedd Township Planning Commission review letter. T4 is a copy of the Montgomery County Planning Commission review letter. And I'm going to add T5, which is a proof of posting of the property for this evening's hearing. The ordinance, as we discussed, would zone the property to be within the TOD 2 transit-oriented overlay. As the board will recall, in August of 2023, the board approved a text amendment which created the TOD 2 transit-oriented overlay zoning district. And that district allows for properties that are located near 1/2 mile of the Pembroke train station to be rezoned within that district, subject to the qualifications set forth in the text amendment that was passed in 2023. The properties in question do satisfy all the requirements of the ordinance, and so this is in a form ready for the board's consideration this evening. And I'm happy to answer any questions, but that was a mouthful and a lot of numbers.
We're now open public comment. Carl?
Well, I know this is going to come as a shock to the board, but I want to go on record officially with my opposition to this amendment. When you passed the text amendment,
Is
What's
your
the matter?
microphone
Your
on?
mic's on.
it's the lights on.
Oh, it is? Okay.
Can you hear me now? Ghosting me, aren't you? All right, I'll say it again. I want to go on record as opposing this. When you did the text amendment, we put you on notice that we considered this a unconstitutional, illegal act. We also had a brief from an attorney that was filed laying out the case law, explaining why this is a problem. Spot zoning is a real thing. I asked you, Lauren, what case law and standing did you use? You said, myself. Well, pardon me, but that's not convincing for me. So you're going to go ahead with this because you have the political wherewithal to do it. But we will, as I've pointed out before, be getting a legal remedy.
Any other public comments? Any questions? Any of the board have any questions?
There's no further comments or questions. A motion to close the public hearing would be appropriate.
I'd like to make a motion to close the public hearing.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Public hearing is now closed. Now we're up. Number 11 on the agenda. I'd like to make a motion to approve ordinance 2025-04. Can I have a second?
So moved.
We have a motion and a second. Any public comment? Any board comment? Questions? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
I think Megan may be doing Dave's report.
Yes.
Yes, okay.
I will be doing
Turn it
Dave's
over to
report.
Megan.
So 1327 East Prospect Avenue, this is a proposed two-lot subdivision that's been on the agenda. We do have the applicant here this evening who will be doing a short presentation later on in the agenda. And then we also have 1500 Pembroke Parkway, the Walters Group. This is the proposed land development for 60 dwelling units. And right now, they're still working through their sewage planning module, and that's the only update right now on that one. Does anybody have any questions regarding either one?
Now I'd like to turn it over to Nick Cross.
Thank you, Catherine. Evening, everyone. Some two quick project updates for tonight. So for the road program, all of the concrete work's been complete. They installed the ADA ramps over at Sweets for Estates, and they wrapped up the curb and driveway work that was done in the Rexdale development. And the paving work should be beginning and wrapping up within the next 2 to 3 weeks. The Haynes Run Stream Bank Restoration Project, the punch list items are being addressed by the contractor. Once they're complete, the contractor is going to demobilize. And then, as we've discussed in the past, he's going to come back out in the fall to do the autumnal plantings. And at that point, we're going to be wrapping up that project and closing it out. And that's all. If anybody has any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. Thank you.
Next on our agenda, number 14, I'd like to make a motion to approve the consent items A through G. Can I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Are there any public comments? Any board comments? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
I'm sorry. Yeah. Deanna?
President Carter,
Biggest day, roll call. Aye.
Vice President Moody,
Aye.
Commissioner Hall,
Aye.
Commissioner McNaney,
Aye.
Commissioner Mall.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
President Carter, I see some people in the room this evening squinting at our agenda there. When you get home, everything that's highlighted there in blue, you can click on and get more information on. So it's all the information that we can legally share with you about all these items. It's there for you so you can read and know more about what we're doing. I don't know if that helps you, but that.
There are hyperlinks, and if you raise your hand, if there's any of them that you would like us to open up, just let us know. We can open them up for you. Any of the consent items, the Laurel House 5K race, the carnival parking contract. If there's any of them that you would like us to open, you can just let us know.
Thanks, Catherine. That's a good idea.
Okay. Number 15 on the agenda, I'd like to make a motion to ratify the addendum to the agreement for the 1908 West Point Pike and authorize the township manager to take all necessary steps to complete the acquisition.
This is fairly straightforward. As the board will recall, last month, there was a ratification of the purchase agreement for the property located at 1908 West Point Pike. The township is still in the due diligence period and is completing its inspections of the property. So we negotiated with the property owner to have an extension of the due diligence period through the end of this month. We do anticipate that there will be no further extensions.
Any public comments? Come on up. Please make sure the light's bright.
Hi, I'm Linda Smith. I'm a resident. I just have a question about the cost of this purchase. So you were saying that it's $1 million and it's the money from the reserve fund, correct?
It's a maximum of $1 million, but I'll defer to the manager on the specific source of the funding.
Oh, yeah. So it is a maximum of $1 million. I'm not exactly sure how that's going to play out with the appraisal and everything. It might be less than $1 million, but we're authorized to go up to $1 million. And as far as how we'll be funding it, right now, that would be taking it from our reserve funding.
How much is in the reserve funding?
Good question. I think 13 million as of our last audit. I'm pulling numbers out of my head right now, which I don't like to rely on, but it's between 12 and 13 million. And then we also have our capital reserve fund, which also has close to 5 million in it. So the board will pass a resolution if we move forward with the full purchase that will allocate exactly where the funding is coming from.
Okay, so if we're going to spend up to $1 million for the property, what are the carrying costs going to be?
I don't know yet. I need to wait until I get all the reports back from the appraiser to see what type of work is going to have to happen. I don't know at this time.
Okay, well, I just was curious of what the likely cost would be, the improvement cost, and how long will it take? I just feel like we're not doing our due diligence by just putting an offer in for this property without having all of those answers. How much it's really going to cost?
That's part of the evaluation that's currently being done, and the way that the agreement is structured does allow the township to pull out if the cost of the renovations are something that the board is not interested in pursuing.
Okay, well, I just would think you would do that ahead of time. All right, thank you.
Thank you. Any board comments? All in favor, say aye.
You got it.
I thought I did.
Did you get a second?
Second.
Greg? Okay. We have a motion and a second. Oh, I'm sorry. Mark, you have a question or comment? I'm sorry.
Mark Connolly, and I am a resident. So I was looking at how much Montgomery Township had paid for their community center, which is beautiful. But I think in 2015, they paid $9 million, right? Now, obviously, it's a different scope. It's brand new, right? But I think the challenge is, like, could you find a spot to build a 12-acre brand new building in this township? I can think of exactly one location in this township, maybe two, that you could do it. And I think if you were to do something like that today, it would not be 9 million, it would probably be 19 million or more, right? Obviously, if it turns out that it needs $10 million in renovations, I think the township would think twice. But I mean, if we're talking here, $1 million in acquisition costs compared to what we see in other townships, especially considering, from what I understand, basically the only internal space right now for recreation, I believe, is this room and the community center. Is that correct? Mm-hmm. So, I mean, for a township of 17,000 people, that's not a lot of space. I definitely think that this would be something that would be good. Again, obviously, with the understanding that if the costs to renovate just go out of control, that, we have the ability to say, no, thank you. I think we want to reconsider. But just, I think when you compare to what neighboring townships have spent to do some, to do community centers, I think that this is definitely a reasonable proposal. So I'm in favor. Thank you.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. Number 16, motion to approve Resolution 18-2025, 1908 West Point Pike condemnation.
It's me again.
Lauren?
So in front of you this evening is a resolution which would authorize the condemnation of the property located at 1908 West Point Pike. This is being done as a friendly condemnation. The property owner is certainly aware of this and is agreeable to this going through the condemnation process rather than a traditional sale process. But in order to do that, we need an authorization from the governing body, and we will need to file the condemnation with the courts in Norristown. So this authorizes us to proceed with that once the due diligence period is complete.
Thank you. Okay, I made a motion. Can I have a second?
So moved.
We have a motion and a second. Do we have any board comments? I have a question. Can you explain friendly condemnation a little further?
Sure. So it's the eminent domain process, and this is the same process that we would use if we were going to go out and take property. We use the term friendly condemnation because we're working with the property owner to do this rather than being in an adversarial relationship. We anticipate the property owner will work with us to get everything approved by the courts without any kind of additional struggle.
Any other board comments?
Lauren, what's the purpose of it? I understand what it is. Why would we do that versus a traditional sale?
So there's certain tax benefits to the seller going through this process because we are a municipality and our ability to condemn the property. It has to do with transfer tax and things of that nature. It also is from our perspective, it avoids having to go through the traditional closing process, which can be more costly to both the buyer and the seller. So this does allow the township to proceed in a manner that's more cost-effective, faster, and benefits both the buyer and the seller equally.
Any public comments? Come on up.
So with condemnation, it's a foregone conclusion that the property is uninhabitable?
No, that's the use of condemnation in the code enforcement context. Condemnation is used for properties that are potentially habitable or usable. In this case, I don't believe that the code department has taken any adverse actions against the structure that's on the property. No.
Well, when you hear the word condemnation, it conjures up not so great images in your mind of the condition. So when we're talking about renovations, I happen to be in that business, it's going to be a big deal when you get into this thing. You're probably going to level it, is what I suspect. But
Condemnation is used in this context as just a term of art. It does not speak in any way, shape, or form to the condition of the structure.
Okay, we'll see.
Thank you. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. Where are we up to? I'd like to make a motion to approve the proposal with Millennium Strategies for Flex Grant Consulting Services.
So we last year embarked on an adventure with Millennium Strategies. We brought them in to help us with grant identification more so than grant writing. We take part in a grant database that they have. This is just renewing that contract for another year. We've been very happy with their services.
Any board comments?
I have one. I just wanted to highlight a note. From 2020 to today, we have procured $3,907,367 in grant funding for the township. So that's in 5 years. That is during the pandemic. And still, we have almost procured $4 million in grant funding. Obviously, thank you, Millennium Grants Portal. That helps as well. Thank you very much to our staff. Thank you to our whole team for all you've done to make this happen.
This is saving everybody. This is saving our entire township dollars, and it is making Upper Gwynedd Township a better place to live, work, or play. Thank you.
Thank you. And I'd like to, I know you said the staff, but I want to give Nick and his team at RVE some direct credit. We work hand in hand, as well as lots of other departments. Like, we kind of all work on these grants, as you mentioned, but specifically RVE authors a lot of them for us and has been very successful. So, and we do need a second on this motion. I think we have the motion, but not a second.
Finish.
Oh, sorry.
Do we were just on the board comments. Any public comments? Can I have a second?
Second.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. Number 19?
18.
Oh, 18. I'd like to make a motion to approve the proposal for WK2 for consulting services for a mission and vision setting process and goals workshop for $11,000. Can I have a second?
So moved.
We have a motion and a second. We have any board comments? Any public comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Number 19, I'd like to make a motion to approve the solicitation of bids for cleaning services for all township-owned facilities. Can I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. We have any board comments? Any public comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Now I'd like to turn it over to zoning, to Commissioner Moody.
Thank you, President Carter. For number 20, I believe we have the resident here. If you want to come up and do a quick presentation.
Good evening. My name is Jason Smealin. I'm with Lenape Valley Engineering, and this is Alec Connicock, the owner of the property. This is a process that started a couple years ago.
I'm sorry, can you say your name again?
Sure. Jason Smealand,
Thank you.
Smealand. I'm with Lenape Valley Engineering. Unfortunately, Chambers Associates, who started this, the engineer there ended up getting sick, and I'm kind of filling in for him to bring this project through the subdivision process. This is located in Prospect Avenue. The minimum lot size here is half acre. You can see that the property is long and narrow. It's about 2 acres total. The frontage lot contains a house. The back lot is a flag lot, and it's vacant. Alex is planning on holding on to the front lot and selling the back lot to a builder to build a new house there. Previously, you had to go through the zoning hearing board to get a variance for lot width. Since the frontage lot wouldn't meet the lot width requirements, the zoning hearing board granted that variance, and then he filed his subdivision application. Planning Commission reviewed this, reviewed by the Township Engineer, Township Planning Commission, Montgomery County Planning Commission. We addressed their comments, and at this point, I think that we're through all of the issues. I don't know if you've seen this project yet before. I know it's been before the Planning Commission a number of times. This may be the first one that you're seeing, so I'd be happy to answer any questions that you have about it. At this point, we would be getting the subdivision plan approved, but it would be with the condition that when a builder does come, he would have to file a stormwater and grading plan to show that you're meeting all of the township requirements for stormwater management, grading, erosion and sedimentation control. But for right now, we're just getting the subdivision through, and then there'll be a separate process. Of course, it won't be public. You wouldn't be part of that. That would all be handled internally by the staff. Other than that, it's public water and sewer. We're doing what we can to preserve the trees, and we'll be conforming with all the ordinances, and happy to answer any questions you might have.
All of that you just talked about was for the one lot.
For one lot, yeah. So
nothing on lot 2.
Well, I'm sorry. There's already a house on lot 1, existing house on lot 1.
Okay.
So existing dwelling to remain. new house at some point in the future, so the shaded area on that plan, that would be what would be built in the future after it's subdivided, and then a builder comes in and files for his permits.
Okay.
Is that an easement for a driveway or something going on in the front lot of the primary residence? How would that be accessed in the back lot?
Yeah, so it is, on this plan, it's actually hard to see, but it's a flag lot. So a flag lot means it has a 25-foot lane. So we have our frontage lot, which are the existing dwelling. Might be able to see it a little better on this plan. So lot 1 is this rectangle here. And then lot 2 is this rectangle plus this flag that comes in here. So it's not an easement, it's actually fee simple. But the way that your ordinance works is that we can't count that as lot area. It's in addition to the minimum lot requirement. Also, for flag lots, you have some other requirements of extra large setbacks and things like that. So we're complying with all of those. But no easement, it'll be fee simple. That person will have access and all legal access. Also, the utilities will go through that flag as well.
Okay.
Thank you. So I'd like to make a motion to approve the resolution 20-25, granting the approval for 1327 East Prospect Avenue for the minor subdivision plan, subject to the conditions set forth within the approval resolution.
Okay. We have a motion. Can I have a second?
So moved.
We have a motion and a second. We have any board comments? Any public comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Sandra, do you want to talk about number 21 or do you want me to read?
Sorry.
No, that's fine.
Number 21. Okay. So, as residents of Jones Avenue are aware, there was a development at 645 Jones Avenue. The township is seeking the ratification of the final release and assignment agreement with Great Midwest Insurance Company for a sum of $82,000. This is the surety that the developer posted for the property. And so when people come in and they do a land development, they make a promise to the township, we're going to do these public improvements, and we require that they post surety in case they fail to do those public improvements. Well, in this case, I don't have all the exact details, but the property has been sort of sitting sadly abandoned by the developer, and the township is ready to move forward with making some of those public improvements utilizing the surety. Did I miss anything, Megan? You look kind of impressed that I was able to come up with all that, but good memo, Megan. So it's actually a pretty exciting moment for the township to be able to make this change for the property owners that have lived with a very half-built 3 to 4 homes on their street.
Yeah, and one of the limitations that the township has is that this escrow or the performance security relates to the public improvements. So that is things like erosion and sediment control, sidewalks, stormwater, not necessarily the structures that are being constructed. That said, the property did go to sheriff's sale last week, so we're hopeful that it'll be resolved soon.
Thank you. With that, did you have something else?
Just heard from the audience, where's Jones? It's in the village, in West Point Village.
Behind the,
Right,
what
the
is it?
turn right after the
Cardinal
railroad
Hollow?
tracks,
Yeah, near
where the Cardinal Winery is.
Cross over the railroad tracks where the winery is, that is Jones Avenue. And if you make that right there where the big gate is, and you go down past the tree folks, you'll see the houses that were supposed to be built. That's where Jones Avenue is. It's around the corner from my house.
Thank you.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Do we have any board comments? Any public comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Now I'd like to turn the meeting over to Public Safety, Commissioner Hall.
Thank you, President Carter. I actually have a couple additional items, but First off, item number 22, I'd like to make a motion to approve the 2025 to 2027 collective bargaining agreement with the police union.
We have a motion. Can I have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any board comments? I'd like to thank Ms. Zadell and everyone involved in getting this agreement together, the police union. That is finally here. Thank you. Any public comments? All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you. So I just have a couple shout outs to do tonight. The first is regarding this past Friday was our annual Battle of the Badges blood drive. And that is when the police department and the fire department are in a competition to try to get blood donors to donate to the American Red Cross and to have those donors choose them as their favorite first responder team. So for anyone who follows our police and fire on Facebook, you might have noticed the funny, so close to the line posts that they were doing to each other. At one point, the police hung a police flag on the fire station, and then the fire station blew it off with their hoses, and then they hung it up they put it at the top of their ladder truck and said, "Come and get it, police." Stuff like that. So that was really fun to watch that happen. But the exciting thing and the real reason we're doing all that is to try to raise blood and save lives, to raise blood donations. So this year we were able to procure 65 units of blood, and that can help over 150 people. So that's no small feat. And the winner is the police department. It's been the fire department for a couple of years, so it's okay that it's the police department this time.
Finally did it, police. Proud of you.
Finally. So thank you to both our police and fire departments, as well as our Park and Recs department, which runs that whole thing, and all the people of our community who made this event so successful and literally saved lives. Thank you. And then the second shout out I want to do is to our fire chief, Chief Eric Geiger. Eric recently was promoted to Chief Warrant Officer 5 in the U.S. Marine Corps. This is the highest ranking in the warrant officer structure within the Marines that you can achieve. This is an incredible accomplishment, and we are so proud of Chief Geiger for this amazing career achievement. He does so much to serve his community, and especially the Upper Gwynedd community in his role as fire chief, and still he finds time to heighten his ability to serve. So hats off to you, Chief Geiger. We're lucky to have you. Thank you, President Carter.
Thank you. Now I'll turn it over for Public Works, Parks and Recreation, Commissioner Mall.
Thank you, President Carter. Item 23, I'm making a motion to approve the leaf collection pilot program.
We have a motion. Can I have a second?
So moved. So moved.
We have a motion and a second. Do we have any board comments?
Yes. Megan, could you talk to us about this a little?
Sure. Over the past several years, as you know, we've explored multiple leaf collection options, some being extremely expensive of over $329,000 over a 3-year period. So after looking at multiple models with the EAC and also the Director of Public Works, we came up with a model that we think is sustainable in terms of cost. And then also we would have our staff do it. It would be a 1 to 2 day weekend event run by the Township Public Works Department. And this would just be a pilot program just to kind of gauge interest and see how successful this would be. So it would be a cost that probably would not exceed $7,000. And it would just require our staffing time of overtime. And then we would have a roll-off dumpster from Britain Industries, and that's $4 per cubic yard for the leaves. And it would also prevent leaves from going into landfills, and it would be composted.
And just to be clear, this isn't a program where folks would, like some municipalities, rake their leaves to the curbside and a machine with a vacuum would come and suck them all up. People would bring their bags of leaves to the township to have them composted.
Yes, that is
No,
correct.
it's not.
Yeah, they do have to bring them.
Correct.
Right,
Residents
but they're not, Greg was saying, to be clear, we're not coming to your curb. You have to come and do it. And I'm saying yes, Greg. It's not.
Oh,
It's
okay.
important clarification for everybody to realize.
Any public comments?
So on the EAC, we've been trying to discuss this for quite a while, and I really appreciate the board taking this on. I know a lot of residents in the community really want to see some kind of leaf collection. You know, people are very, environmentally conscious, and I really appreciate the board looking at something we can do to see what can work. And this is our first point, as Megan said, is a pilot. Let's see what the interest really is. Hopefully, we got a great turnout and we can expand it from there. But I appreciate the board, taking this on in response to some resident requests. So thank you.
Thank you. All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you, President Carter. Agenda item number 24, I'm making a motion to approve Resolution 19-2025, CPRO's grant closeout, as that work is complete, and we need to authorize this resolution in order to disperse the funds, to have those funds dispersed.
Thank you. We have a motion. Can I have a second?
Second?
We have a motion and a second. We have any board comments? Any public comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Thank you, Greg. Now I can take a moment to say thank you to Commissioner Moody. She asked if she could take over wastewater treatment and take a little bit off my plate, and I truly appreciate it. And I want to turn over the wastewater treatment to Commissioner Moody.
Thank you. So for item number 25, this is for a sump pump that supplies the effluent screens and utility water. The current option is insufficient and in the long term, as it will raise the total suspended solids for our NPDES permit in our final effluent. So a spare pump would allow our staff to be able to swap this pump out to do the necessary repairs. So I'd like to make a motion to approve the Barnes pump through Deckman Motor and Pump in the amount of $10,976.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Do we have any board comments? Do we have any public comments? Deanna, can you do a roll call?
President Carter,
Aye.
Vice President Moody,
Aye.
Commissioner Hall,
Aye.
Commissioner McNaney,
Aye.
Commissioner Mull.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you. So for the next one, similar, I'd like to make a motion to approve the flight assembly with the stub shaft through Sherwood Logan in the amount of $11,430.
We have a motion. Can I have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. We have any board comments? Any public comments? Deanna, can you do a roll call?
President Carter,
Aye.
Vice President Moody,
Aye.
Commissioner Hall,
Aye.
Commissioner McNaney,
Aye.
Commissioner Mull.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
Item number 27, this is a motion to approve the purchase of parts for the ultraviolet system, which disinfects the final effluent before discharge. And the parts that we're looking to purchase here are required to fulfill yearly preventative maintenance tasks to keep disinfection at its optimum and to have some spare parts on the shelf ready and available for due to long lead times. So I'd like to make a motion to approve the purchase of these parts for the ultraviolet system from CAP, I'm assuming that's correct, Associates Incorporated, in the amount of $24,732.51.
We have a motion. Can I have a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Do we have any board comments? I have a question. With all of these 10,000, 11,000, 24,000, and shortly 3,000, are there any, what's that question?
Budget impact?
Budget impacts. Is it all part of their original budget?
It looks like they're all part of the original budget. Sorry, I probably should have said that when I was part of the capital budget for the first two, and the second, the third, sorry, it was in the operations budget.
Okay, thank you. Any public comments? All in favor? I'm sorry. Deanna, can you do a roll call?
President Carter,
Aye.
Vice President Moody,
Aye.
Commissioner Hall,
Aye.
Commissioner McNaney.
Aye.
Commissioner Mull.
Motion passes unanimously.
And then last one on the list, number 28. In June 2025, this year, Barton and LaJudice completed the wastewater treatment sludge handling study. Following the study and the presentation at our meeting, the township requested additional time to meet and discuss possible directions for us to follow. This motion represents an additional billable time that was approved for Barton and LaJudice to involve the Upper Gwynedd Township in those plans. The accounting office requires for their invoice to basically submit this separately, which is why we're looking to approve this. So I'd like to make a motion to approve Barton and LaJudice rate structure and additional meeting time in the amount of $3,027.15.
We have a motion. Can I have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. We have any board comments? I just have one comment. They charged us to explain their presentation.
Yes.
They were working. They have
Yes.
to charge us.
But it was their presentation. It was unclear.
Well, I think we had a second,
I think it's more of a
Separate
complex
meeting.
topic rather
Yeah.
than unclear. But
and I think the second meeting had more people involved as well, so they basically presented it another time, more or less.
Mhm. Any public comments? Deanna?
No.
No. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Thank you, Rebecca. And again, thank you for taking over wastewater treatment. Number 29, I'd like to make a motion to approve the August invoices. Do we have a second?
So moved.
We have a motion and a second. Any board comments? Any public comments? Deanna, can you do a roll call?
President Carter,
Aye.
Vice President Moody,
Aye.
Commissioner Hall,
Aye.
Commissioner McNaney.
Aye.
Commissioner Mull.
Motion passes unanimously. I'd like to make a motion to approve the August paid invoices. Can I have a second?
So moved.
We have a motion and a second. Any board comments? Any public comments? Deanna, can you please do the roll call?
President Carter,
Aye.
Vice President Moody,
Aye.
Commissioner Hall,
Aye.
Commissioner McNaney.
Aye.
Commissioner Mull.
Motion passes unanimously. And before we adjourn, on a personal side, I'd like to thank all of the residents and the staff here at Upper Gwynedd Township for their patience with me and my family during the last couple of months that I haven't been here or I've been online. My mom passed away, as you know, but I do appreciate everyone's patience and understanding during that time that I was not here. Now we have a motion for a call for adjournment. Thank you and have a good evening.